I just realized I'm talking about it wrong. Because I always say I'm in menopause, I'm going through menopause, I've hit menopause, and you're saying once you actually get to that date where you haven't had a period for a year, it ain't coming back. That's menopause. But technically now, I'm in postmenopause
forever.
Wow.
So we are constantly chewing up bone like Pac-Man and then pooping out new bone behind it, you know.
Really?
Yes. And so we're always, the bones you were born with were not the bones you had at 10 or not the bones you have at 20. We have totally chewed up and laid down all new bone. What happens in menopause or in women with chronic suppression of ovulation, chronic low, postpartum, multiple babies, we start chewing up more bone faster than we can lay it down. And that accelerates in menopause. So we end up with this porous bone with holes in it, basically, that is a lot easier to fracture. Now, if you fracture your hip, so if you're 65 plus, and that is 10 years away from us, and we fall, climbing up a ladder, chasing a grandbaby, hopefully maybe one day, no pressure to my children, and we trip, we take out a hip, even with surgical repair, we have a 29% chance of death in that first year. And if we survive...
I need everybody to hear that. This is really serious. She's basically saying bone density starts to decrease based on the decrease in estrogen.
And
aging. And that makes you more fragile and prone to having a broken bone. And she is also saying this is preventable.
For most women.
For most women. But if you fall and break a hip at the age of 65, 29% of you will die.
In the first year.
In the first year.
With surgery. Without surgery, it's like 79%. So they're all getting surgery.
Wow. I'm trying to digest this stat. I want to make sure you didn't miss this. When you think about the estrogen levels that you have at the age of 25, you only have 1% of that when...
Of estradiol, yeah.
You are postmenopausal. And the only sources for your body to create it are ovaries or...
And a little bit in the periphery, in other cells,
That's it. Wow.
Vibrant.
As a medical doctor, as a woman who is going through this right now, what do we do? Now that we know, what do we do?
Great question. So when I have patients come to me in clinic and we talk about menopause care, I do it in the form of a toolkit.
Okay.
We start with nutrition. We talk about movement and exercise. We talk about stress reduction, sleep optimization. Then we talk about pharmacologic options like hormone therapy, or if she's not a candidate, then other options for her based on her symptoms. We also talk about supplements that might be helpful. So women, I've said this before, we're living longer, but we're living in poorer health. I don't want the longer lifespan if I'm going to be decrepit and I'm going to be disabled and my children are going to worry about me every day. I think that, as this next gen, our daughters come up through this and they have their options and they know what's happening in their bodies and they understand it. We're going to keep that lifespan, but we're going to improve our health span and make those choices that can lead to us having healthier lives.
Is not only can you get relief from the symptoms and feel like yourself again and really optimize your health, but that when you do so, it increases the quality of your life and it increases your lifespan and it increases your vitality over that lifespan. And that's why this is so important. Yeah. So for the person listening, I know what they're now thinking. Okay, great. I got to get the book, but how do I find my own Dr. Haver? Like how do you, I'm dead serious about this. Right. How do you prepare yourself to go in to your doctor? And how do you find somebody who has been studying menopause?
Right. So in a perfect world, you could just march into your PCP or your OBGYN even, and they would be like, absolutely, let's go. We're probably a generation away from this becoming normal. So what can you do now? I have a list on my website of testimonials from my followers who have found great people. So that's one place. The Menopause Society, of which I've become certified, is an independent organization of people who care about menopause, do research in menopause, and they have a certification and training program. And so you can find at the Menopause Society or menopause.org, go on there and find a certified provider. That's another place to start. Some of the new telemedicine companies coming out are built to serve the menopausal woman. I don't love it as much as an in-person visit because I do in-person visits, but my God, that's all they do is sit there, listen to your symptoms, believe you, order a test if you need them, and give you the hormone therapy you so desperately need.
And I hope one of the things that you do is that you take a moment to share this with every woman that you know. And I'm not just talking the women that are peri or postmenopausal. I'm talking every woman in your life because the information today was about the design of the female body and about how estrogen and estrogen decline and deficiency impacts her profoundly. And so this really could change somebody that you care about. It could change your life.